College football fans, black and gold fans, welcome in or welcome back to the Touchdown Black and Gold Vlog, the channel where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football, the only channel that's got you covered across the entire college football landscape, from north to south, east to west, and everywhere in between. Thanks, guys and gals. It's great to have you back. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks. Holla at you, boy. And this is my Week 3 review and recap episode. And what a thrilling Week 3 it was over the weekend. And we'll get to the big storylines and headlines here shortly. So, as always, I want to thank you for your continued support, time, and attention of the channel. If you are already subscribed to the channel, thank you, Danka, for everything that you've done and everything you will continue to do. If this is your first time joining me here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, please, if you like what you hear and what you see, subscribe, like, share, comment, rate. Everything is going in our direction. Views are up. Subscriptions are up, likes, rates are also up, but I need more help to find college football fans just like you. And as I always ask and remind you guys every episode, that I absolutely welcome and want and really appreciate any of the comments that you want to make based on this episode. So please, if there's anything that you want to add to my analysis, critique, or opinion, just go ahead and comment below. I always want you to be involved, and I promise I will get back to each and every one of you individually via those comments, because you, the college football fan, are the ones who drive these episodes. And it's an absolute pleasure for me to be here with you, sharing my love of everything college football with you, the fanatic, whether you're a generational fan or if you're more of a kind of a leisurely fan. Everybody is welcomed here, regardless of your team of fandom, the jersey that you root for, the symbol on the helmet. This is a safe ground, a holy ground, a safe zone. Everybody is welcomed here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. So what I've got for you, what's on tap for this episode, my 5 usual segments I have during my review and recap episodes. I'm going to start off by playing the college football stock market with my buy or sell segment. Then I will move into my 3 cheers, or who deserved 3 cheers from Week 3. Then I will unveil to you my updated team power rankings, 1 through 12. So the top 10 plus my 2 honorable mentions. And that is simply based on what I've seen on the field, nothing in comparison with the AP or coaches polls. After that, I will move in to the good, the bad, and the ugly from Week 3, followed by Mr. Irrelevant, which that was a star who shined so brightly during Week 3, but it's an individual before the weekend you probably never had heard of, unless that person happens to be on your team of choice. So please hang out with me, have some fun, get comfortable, strap in, because it's going to be a fun ride. And I'm telling you right now, I am so excited. I mean, excited already because college football is back, but have you not seen what's on the docket for the upcoming week, Week 4 this coming weekend? All I can say is it's action-packed, Pee-wee, from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I cannot wait for Week 4. I mean, if you are a college football fan, you know exactly what I'm getting at for this upcoming week. And I cannot wait to preview Week 4 later on this week. But right now, let's just go ahead and talk about the weekend that was. And once again, thank you for everything you do. Please get involved, subscribe, comment, like, share, rate. let's go ahead and get it on. Woo! Ric Flair style. All right, so as promised, my first segment today will be buy or sell. I'm going to go ahead and play the college football stock market. Let's just wait for that opening bell. There it is. The stock market is open. It's time for me to go ahead and test my knowledge of the college football stock market. And how this segment goes, if this is your first time with us, that I have 5 hot takes that I will make a statement, and then I will buy or sell that statement based on, once again, my analysis, my opinion. So please comment, let me know what you think about these 5 hot takes. Now, number 1, if you're a fan of the Alabama Crimson Tide, wow, it was a rough week 3 for you. I'm really kind of referring to the quarterback play, or I should say lack thereof quarterback play. I don't have to say any more. You all saw for yourselves what's going on down there in Tuscaloosa. They've got a major problem. And especially, it's even more of a major problem when it involves the most important position on the football field. But after watching that win, which they did get the win on the road at South Florida, they defeated the Bulls. But here's my first hot take. Number 13, Alabama faces a early season must-win situation in week 4 coming up versus number 15, Ole Miss in Tuscaloosa. I'm actually going to buy this one, and that's surprising. I usually do not like to refer to a must-win situation or game this early in the season, but this is a must-win for Alabama at home against a very talented, very motivated Ole Miss Rebels ball team. Because here's the thing, with the struggles of Alabama at quarterback, it's like musical chairs. But I don't really even know for myself who's the best option. Neither does the GOAT, Coach Nick Saban, which is even more troubling. But you've got an Ole Miss team coming into Tuscaloosa that's playing very well. And if Alabama loses this game, they already have 1 loss on the season at home against upstart Texas and Steve Sarkisian's boys. So if they lose this game, which I believe, yes, it is their SEC opener, this is going to be, I think, at best a 9-3 Alabama football team. More than likely, probably 8-4. They still have to play LSU, which is in Tuscaloosa. They go on the road to Texas A&M. I believe they play at Kentucky as well. This is really going to be a struggle for this team. So this is a must-win, or Alabama, you're looking at 8-4 in my calculations right in the face. And that means you are not going to be a factor in the SEC West race. You're just not. So this is an absolute must-win. So I'm buying that statement. Alabama fans, let me know what you think about that. Now, my number 2 hot take. On the heels of their big 38-31 win over Arkansas in Fayetteville, I'm talking about the BYU Cougars, that is. Now, among the 4 new additions to the Big 12 in the offseason, remember that was BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF, BYU will enjoy the most success in their inaugural season of the Big 12 compared to the other 3 additions. I'm going to sell that. I like this BYU team, and I'm a big fan of the Cougars. I mean, I'm one of those guys who always in my heart of hearts roots for BYU. But I'm selling this because I think UCF is basically going to end up having the most success and best record of those 4 new additions in the Big 12 based on their schedule, but also their roster and their head coach, Gus Malzahn, who has experience coaching at the Power 5 level. Nothing against Coach Kalani Sitake at BYU. I'm a big fan of him as well, but I think UCF is going to enjoy the most success year 1 in the Big 12. Let me know what you think about that, BYU or UCF fans. Number 3, as of now, the Pac-12 conference finds itself in the best position to get multiple teams into the college football playoff field, that is an absolute buy. The Pac-12, as of right now, yes, it is very early, so I'm going to say that stipulation, as of right now, they are absolutely in the best position to get multiple teams into the college football playoff. I mean, look right now what they have. USC, Washington, Oregon, and Utah are all ranked currently in the top 11. All right. All undefeated, looking very, very good. That is going to be such a tough conference. And I told you guys that this is and was going to be the best conference this year in the nation and the most deepest and competitive, and it has not let down as of yet. So absolutely, the Pac-12 is back for one more go-around, unfortunately, when they dissolve at season's end. Number 4, my fourth hot take. Now, I'm going to go ahead and compare two teams on this one and the two conferences they play within. I am not a crook, so please stay with me. So when I compare Texas of the Big 12 and Florida State of the ACC, the overall depth and quality of those two conferences, keep that in mind for this hot take, that when it comes down to Texas and Florida State, who have both scored big-time wins early in the season, Texas at Alabama, as I mentioned, Florida State taking down LSU in Orlando. But watching this weekend, I believe that Florida State, if they were to take a bad loss, one bad loss in conference compared to Texas, they would have a much better chance to make the college football playoff field. I'm going to absolutely buy that. And here's why. Over the weekend, Florida State escaped Boston College in Chestnut Hill on the road, 31-29. I mean, I can't believe, and I'm just going to say it this way, Boston College, guys, is just bad. I mean, just bad. They lost to NIU, the Huskies of the MAC, week 1. They held on for a 3-point victory over Holy Cross of the FCS in week 2. It is a very good Holy Cross team. I'm just going to say that, though, to be fair. But just a bad Boston College team. They held on. So that would have been an awful loss, okay? But I think based on the depth and talent of their conferences, the ACC right now is definitely a better conference, top to bottom, than the Big 12 is, okay? So if Florida State was to lose one bad game, recover, win the ACC title at 12-1, they're going to get a playoff invitation compared to Texas. Let's say Texas was to lose a bad game to Iowa State or Oklahoma State, Houston, TCU. I think that could be so damaging, even though they have that big win at Alabama. But as I aforementioned, with Alabama's struggles, if they end up losing 2 or 3 or more games, then that win is going to lose a lot of luster and a lot of face value. So Texas fans, you really need to root and get behind Alabama to recover, to keep that a legitimate level 1 type non-conference victory. So right now the Big 12, especially over the weekend, did you not see what happened in the Big 12? Oklahoma State lost, Iowa State lost, and I'm going to talk more about those two teams later on, all right? Texas Tech finally got off the schneid. They got their first victory. BYU, they did win at Arkansas. Kansas State, who was ranked the reigning Big 12 champion, lost at Missouri on a walk-off field goal winner, and more on that game here later too. The Big 12 is really struggling. All right, they just are to find a little bit more legitimacy. So let me know what you think about that. I think Florida State in that scenario would get the nod because of that LSU victory over Texas. Because this guy right here, I still believe LSU is the best team in the SEC, and they will be the champion ultimately when everything clears at the end of conference championship weekend. So that was my fourth hot take. Let me know what you think about that one. And number 5, I always go ahead and share one, the last one for my Iowa Hawkeyes. So the drive for 300. I know most of you are probably familiar with what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Iowa having to average 25 points or more this season during the regular season to keep Iowa's offensive coordinator Brian Ferentz employed. That was one of his contract amendments in the offseason. So after putting up a 41 spot on the scoreboard versus Western Michigan over the weekend, Iowa is now 10 points ahead of schedule to end the regular season above 25 points or more, thus saving Brian Ferentz's job. So my hot take is Iowa will accomplish this feat. This is the hard sell for me. They're not gonna put up 25 points or more from here out. They're just not. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let's say Iowa goes 10-2, 9-3, wins the Big Ten West. Are they really going to then fire Brian Ferentz? We'll have to wait and see. That's why I'd love to see it happen. Well, I love to see it happen in general because I'm a Hawkeye fan. But remember, this deal was made through former AD, I should say, Gary Barta, who now retired and is out at Iowa. So will the new AD stick with this contract or maybe restructure another one? We'll have to wait and see. But there's no way they're going to average at the end of the season 25 or more. And I said that weeks ago during my pre-season episode, my bold predictions. I thought they would end up with 23, maybe 24, but not 25. It ain't going to happen. Hawkeye fans, let me know what you think about that hot take. And that is my buy or sell segment for the week. Let me know what you think about that. Now let's go ahead and move into my 3 cheers segment for week 3. And these guys are some great stories, good accomplishments, big victories that you might be a little bit unaware of. It's my job, my responsibility to keep you in the know, and a lot of these things go really unnoticed, unpublicized. They fall between the cracks, so I want to bring you up to speed on this. So my first 3 cheer from week 3, how about the basketball powers, how they're rising right now? These traditional basketball schools, this is what's going on with them. Currently, right now, Syracuse, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Kansas are all a perfect 3-0 right now. So, basketball schools no more? Well, we'll have to wait and see about that. But for these basketball schools, I say to you, you deserve it. You get my first hip hip hooray. Take it all in. All right. My next cheer from week 3 is, wow, what a big time moment it was, especially for the local natives and local yokos around here. I currently reside in the Show Me state of Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, where the University of Missouri is a stone's throw away. And what a big time moment on Saturday, knocking off number 15 Kansas State. So I got to give a cheer to Harrison, the thicker kicker, Mevis. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, just Google pics of Harrison Mevis. It's pretty self-explanatory why he's the thicker kicker. But as time expired, Mevis kicked a game-winning 61-yard field goal at the buzzer. And in doing so, not only provided Missouri that big moment that they've been needing under Coach Eli Drinkowitz, but also he set a SEC record for the longest field goal in SEC conference history. So well done, Harrison Mevis. For you, you deserve it. Take a bow. This one's for you. All right. Now my last cheer of week 3, and what a stunner this is. And whenever this happens, I love to give the spotlight and shout out and props to the teams who do this. But Sacramento State, That's right, the Hornets of Sacramento State. They are an FCS school, I believe in the Big Sky Conference of the FCS. They play very good football, by the way, in that conference. But on Saturday, they buzzed into Palo Alto, which I think Hornets buzz. Obviously, bees, Hornets, they got to be a little bit related, right? But the Hornets buzzed into Palo Alto, California, and stung the Cardinal into submission. That's right, these two teams faced off Saturday, Sacramento State at FBS Power 5 school Stanford, and guess what? That's right, the Hornets left the farm paid and victorious. They scored a big-time program moment victory, 30-23 over the Stanford Cardinal of the Pac-12. What a great moment for Sacramento State. This is maybe my one of my new favorite FCS schools. I still have much love for my SIU Salukis, but how can you not get behind Sacramento State, especially if you're a Hawkeye fan, because their Hornet's name is Herky. Maybe Herky the Hawkeye, Herky the Hornet, maybe they're long-lost brothers, some twins like, Schwarzenegger and DeVito. I don't know, but for Sacramento State, the Hornets, this one's for you. Take it all in. Congrats on a great accomplishment. That's right. What a big-time moment for that program. And that, guys, is my 3 cheers from week 3. Let me know what you think about my 3 cheers. Is there somebody maybe that deserves additional recognition? Please comment. Let me know below. Like, share, subscribe, rate. Let your voice be heard. Now I'm going to go ahead and unveil my post-week 3 power rankings. Each and every week, I give you my top 10 plus 2 honorable mention, the teams that I believe are the best in the nation as of right now. Let's go and get to those right now if we should. Now, my top 4 compared to post-week 2, there is no difference, but there has been some movement up and down based on what they looked like on the field. Holding down number 1 is still the Georgia Bulldogs, the 2-time defending national champions. Now they've won 19 straight games in a row. Congrats on that. Number 2, up 1 spot from last week, I've got the Michigan Wolverines. Still look solid across the board. I think this is the team that has the fewest amount of questions and the depth that Michigan has. And by the way, I did pick them to win the national title. I've got them number 2, up 1 spot from last week. Number 3, also up 1 spot from last week. I've got the Texas Longhorns. They did find themselves in a little bit of a battle for 3 quarters against the Wyoming Cowboys. I believe it was 10-10 going into the 4th. I think that's really just them coming down from last week's big win over Alabama on the road to where they had to kind of get back on solid ground. They pulled away late for a big victory. I've got Texas up 1 to number 3. Number 4, based on that struggle and that escape job at against Boston College, I've got down 2 spots at number 4, Florida State. So I think those 4 are right now the best 4 teams in the country. I think they would deservedly so would be the college football playoff field if that was selected today. At number 5, just like last week, I've got USC and Traveler looking tough and legit, especially from an offensive standpoint. Number 6, just like last week, they picked up a solid road victory over Illinois. I've got the Penn State Nittany Lions, and they face off with the Hawkeyes week 4. I can't wait to talk about that game later in the week. At number 7, no movement exactly where they were last week. I've got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, another huge matchup. They host Ohio State in week 4. Number 8, speaking of number 7, Ohio State. Number 7 is Ohio State. Number 8, I have Notre Dame. No movement between 6, 7, and 8 from last week. Number 9, up 1 spot from last week. I got to go with the Washington Huskies, who absolutely housed Michigan State in East Lansing with all of the chaos and issues going on within the Michigan State program. It wasn't that unexpected, but still, Michael Penix Jr., one of my Heisman Trophy finalists that I projected, and I also picked Washington to make the college football playoff, by the way, looking legit right now. Number 10, one of the big movers, up 2 spots from last week. I've got number 10 LSU, who flexed impressively on the road in their SEC opener. I believe 41-10 was the score over Mississippi State, the Bulldogs, and the power of the cowbell down in Starkville. Looking really good, like the LSU team that I believe they can be. Another one of my college football playoff participants that I projected, LSU. Number 11, down 2 spots. And I debated even keeping them in the top 12 because of their quarterback issues. But I got to give a little bit of benefit of the doubt to Coach Nick Saban, who usually is the best at recalculating, making adjustments. I got number 11, Alabama, the Crimson Tide, just hanging on to the top 12. And at 12, I've got the Oregon Ducks, who definitely opened up a can of you-know-what over the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors over the weekend. They've got a big test at home this week. They host Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. I'll talk more about that game here in a little bit as well. The Buffaloes and Coach Primetime Sanders come to Eugene for week 4. I can't wait to talk about that game later on too. So that's my power rankings post week 3. Let me know what you think. Agree, disagree. Should somebody be higher, somebody be lower, or hey, this team, Blair, should be on your list? Please comment, like, share, subscribe, rate. My next segment now is one of my favorite segments every week. What? That's right, that sound can only mean it's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly from week 3. Let it play. All right. So I love this segment, and it's really becoming one of my favorites. And once again, these are things that you're probably aware of, but also some things that have gone unnoticed during week 3 in the media. So let's start off with the good. And this week, I'm going to go and start off with some numbers leading into what the good, the bad, and the ugly were. So this week's good, 5. And I'm talking about the group of 5. Week 3, the group of 5 defeated 5 power conference teams. 5 victories for the lower conferences over the big dogs in week 3. I mean, what an accomplishment. I can't remember the last time that I saw something like this. I mean, when you look, you had Ohio defeated Iowa State of the Big 12. Miami of Ohio defeated Cincinnati of the Big 12 as well. Once again, not a banner weekend for the Big 12. USA, the South Alabama Jaguars, I love this team, by the way. They defeated Oklahoma State, also of the Big 12. UNLV, the Running Rebels in Sin City, defeated Vanderbilt of the SEC. And Fresno State, the Bulldogs, defeated Arizona State of the Pac-12 in the Valley of the Sun in Tempe. I mean, what a great accomplishment for the group of 5 conferences over the weekend. And we almost saw 3 more. We could have had 8. I mean, Wake Forest held on for a 3-point victory against Old Dominion, and that was a back and forth game. So the ACC could have lost one of their Power 5 teams. Also, late, Nevada hosted Kansas of the Big 12. Kansas scored a touchdown late in the game, held on for a 31-24 victory. And then Colorado and Colorado State. This game happened in Boulder, the Rocky Mountain rivalry. College game day was there. Yours truly, for some of you who don't require a lot of sleep like myself, I stayed up until 2 a.m. and watched this game that went into double overtime. Colorado did come back down 11 in the fourth quarter, ended up winning in overtime. So right there, we could have had 3 more victories pulled by the group of 5 over Power 5 opponents. So what a great showing for the group of 5. That was the good from week 3. Now the bad, all right? 107 between 2 and 114 between 3. And what I'm referring to there are the quarterback totals for passing yards for Alabama and Oklahoma State over the weekend. Alabama, I already mentioned there, we all know what's going on. They were able to manage 107 total passing yards among 2 quarterbacks that they played against South Florida. And Oklahoma State only managed a measly 114 passing yards among 3 quarterbacks against South Alabama during week 3. I mean, I don't really understand this myself. In the era of the transfer portal, how can you not have at least one quarterback on your roster or staff that is proven to have some skill? Not great skill, but average, all right? Both of these teams have dabbled into the transfer portal before. How can you not have at least one that's competent to throw and complete a pass? I do not understand. But that is absolutely bad, especially from Alabama when we know the talent that they have. I mean, there's no doubt those quarterbacks on that team are talented, but are they good enough to really pull their weight in the SEC this year? And Oklahoma State, I said this last week, they're just bad. I actually did pick South Alabama to defeat Oklahoma State last week. They're just bad. I mean, a huge rebuild down there in Stillwater for the Cowboys and Coach Gundy. So that was the bad from week 3. Now, finally, the ugly, okay? Check out these numbers. 17 for 182 and 18 for 131. These were penalties against teams that were trying to pull upsets over the weekend. The first number is Colorado State. All right, I just said they took Colorado to double overtime and lost. They had an 11-point fourth quarter lead, all right? But they basically committed 17 penalties for 182 yards. I don't care what's going on. You commit those many penalties, you're not going to be able to complete an upset victory. You're just not, okay? And the other numbers I gave you, 18 for 131, that's how many penalties and yards Boston College committed against Florida State. And they only lost by 2 points. I mean, you're not going to spring these upsets if you commit those many penalties for yards. It's absolutely ugly. And it's really fitting for that Boston College-Florida State game. I mean, Boston College stopped them on 3rd and 8 to go. They were going to get the ball back with just under 2 minutes left. And I believe they didn't have any timeouts, maybe one timeout left as well. They stopped them short, but you see laundry all over the field. BC committed a face masking penalty, which gave Florida State an automatic first down and ultimately cost them the chance to get the field goal for the victory. So a very fitting end to that game for Boston College and what they did all day long. So those are just ugly numbers. UGLY, you ain't got no alibi for committing those many penalties and yards. I mean, just awful. You can't get it done. You must play clean and play sound, okay? So let me know what you think about the good, the bad, and the ugly from week 3. Oh, there was a lot to unpack there. There just was. All right, guys. Now let's move into my final segment for this episode, my week 3 review and recap. And I'm right on time. I'm looking to start keeping these episodes 40 minutes or under is my goal because I know sometimes I can get long-winded. I'm sorry. I'm a talker. And unfortunately for you Game of Thrones fans, you'll get this, the talking too much sometimes makes people thirsty, like the Hound. You're a talker. Talkers make me thirsty. So I'll wrap it up here for you guys right now. My final segment, and I love this one, something I just added a couple weeks ago. It's new to this season on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, is Mr. Irrelevant. And that is somebody who, prior to week 3, you had never heard of their name, but they were big time in their game over the weekend. I'm not going to say their actions gave them the outright victory to their teams, but absolutely were big time factors in it. Because after all, it takes a team for a victory, but there's also time for individual achievement. And that's really what my Mr. Irrelevant is. So somebody you never heard of and may never hear about ever again the rest of this season and beyond. So this week's Mr. Irrelevant was Colorado tight end Michael Harrison. Now, coming into the game over the weekend against in-state rival Colorado State, he had 4 receptions for 37 yards and 0 touchdowns. So very mediocre numbers through 2 games, especially an offense that we've seen what they're doing at Buffalo, pace and space, a lot of passing left and right. So very mediocre numbers coming into week three's game. But at the end of the night, against Colorado State, he had 7 receptions on 7 targets, which is impressive in itself, for 76 yards and 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. All right. And both of those touchdowns came during the overtime sessions for Colorado. And that 2-point conversion came under 30 seconds left, which then sent the game ultimately into overtime. So when they needed him, he was clutch. So Mr. Irrelevant, you deserve it. Colorado tight end Michael Harrison. I mean, what a way to go out, to show up and show out. The whole country is watching. Game day was there. Stars, celebrities, and the fans on the sideline, including The Rock. Dwayne Johnson was in attendance. So what a game, what a moment for Michael Harrison. So for you, I give you a big standing ovation. Mr. Irrelevant, way to come up big. Little tip of the hat there for you too, Mr. Harrison. All right. Calm down. That's enough now. All right. So guys, that is my episode for today, my week 3 review and recap. Please get involved, comment, like, share, subscribe, rate. And like I said, I welcome it. I want it. So please comment, and I will get back to you very shortly, sooner than later. Later on this week, probably out early to late afternoon on Thursday will be my week 4 preview and picks episode. Can't wait to get down and dirty talking about the big time matchups week 4. Hands down the juiciest and beefiest week we've had so far coming up in this college football season. So thank you for your time and attention, support. Can't wait to see you then. Until Thursday, enjoy the rest of your week. And thank you for joining me on this episode of the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. I'm History. Study me. Bye-bye.